It's been over a year since the Oculus Rift S and Quest launched. Back in May of 2019, the Rift S launched as the successor to the Oculus Rift, the first consumer-ready PC VR headset from Facebook. And that was the Rift S's specialty, virtual reality using a computer. The Oculus Quest, however, was something completely different. Using an Android processor, it played mobile VR games wirelessly without the need for a computer at all. But you took very obvious cuts in graphics and gameplay scale due to that. You essentially traded not having to use a PC for worse graphical fidelity, but the price of the headsets were the same. And up until recently, my stance has been firmly, if you play PC VR, get a Rift S. If you want mobility or versatility, or you want VR and you don't have a PC yet, then get a Quest. But my entire stance has slowly shifted. I think it's about time I revisit the great debate between the Rift S and the Quest 1 year later, and to settle a couple problems that I've had along the way with how Oculus has handled this whole situation. By the way, in case you really just want to know now, I now recommend the Quest over the Rift S for a variety of long-standing issues. There. But if you want to know why, and if you want to be making an informed decision on your purchase, then I'll explain, and I'll be giving my experience of how they've held up after a year of usage. Let's go. So I have adamantly defended the Rift S. I personally am generally a PC VR gamer. I mean, I have a PC right here that's capable of high quality VR. So why would I settle and trade a 2080 Ti for a Snapdragon 835 on a Quest? So yeah, I've said for months now, if you're like me and you play mostly PC VR games, or that's what you plan on playing and you're on a budget, the Rift S is an easy purchase over the Quest. At launch, the Rift S was the only headset capable of PC VR from Oculus, and even in the early days of the Link, which allows this standalone headset to function just like a normal PC VR headset via a USB-C cable, the Rift S just flat out did PC VR better. It was more comfortable, had a sharper display, larger tracking volume due to an extra camera on top of the headset, higher refresh rate, albeit very slightly higher, and didn't suffer from the compression artifacts that bothered me on the Quest while using the Link. Of course, it had its issues, like being of a noticeably lower build quality and a couple of software and driver bugs. But those small issues are nothing that a few software updates couldn't fix, right? Well, let's take a look at what updates the Rift S have gotten, and what updates have the Quest gotten. You ready? The Oculus Quest has gotten the Link, allowing it to be used as a normal PC VR headset, pass-through plus, hand tracking, unlimited play space, and a litany of other quality of life improvements, like allowing the Link to be used with almost any USB-C cable, not just limited to the hard-to-find high-bandwidth USB 3.0 cables, tracking algorithm updates, Link latency updates. And the Oculus Rift S has gotten, I don't know, the same tracking updates that the Quest have gotten, I suppose? To be fair here, I would ask, what would Oculus really add to the Rift S? So far, all of the updates besides hand tracking for the Quest have been adding the functionality to that headset that the Rift S already had. You can't really do the same back because, well, the Rift S has no processor or battery. You can't add things that the Rift S isn't capable of. But what you can add, and what you should have done, is fix the issues that the Rift S does have. Instead, all the problems have been ignored, and the Rift S feels like a forgotten child of Oculus. And there's more to that, but I'll get into that in just a minute. How about the robot mic issue that thousands deal with on a daily basis that only occurs on the Rift S? I mean, I can tell what headset someone has just because of this weird bug that happens with their mic. And Oculus knows about it, believe me, it's all over forums, Reddit, YouTube, they just don't give a f. And what about the weird driver failures that happen for people, resulting in a headset that just stops working as intended completely randomly? I'm not asking for Oculus to change the hardware design. I'm asking for them to fix these long-standing issues that Rift S owners have had for more than a year, and it just doesn't happen. Instead, the Quest receives update after update after update. Now, if you're a Quest owner, this is amazing. And I'll get into my thoughts on the Quest in just a second, but if you are a Rift S owner, I'm sorry, like truly. You still have a great headset, and it will function for you well until it either completely dies or Oculus stops supporting it completely. Not like that'll change much anyways, but the Rift platform has been seriously shafted. Now, I have my suspicions why, and the number one reason is because of that Lenovo logo right there on the Rift S. This isn't an Oculus headset. This is a Lenovo headset with Oculus tracking algorithms and branding. The Rift S was essentially a stopgap until the Link was ready for the Quest. The Quest and standalone VR is the future of Oculus and VR as a whole, and it's Oculus's baby. It does everything. I asked way back in June of 2019, why are these headsets even separate? I said, quote, "It seems like it's a mere choice by Oculus to not offer a tethered option for the Quest," end quote. I said that these two headsets should have been a single offering by Oculus, and believe it or not, that's actually what Oculus did. But while making that single headset they'd support, they also suckered everyone into buying essentially a rebranded Windows mixed reality headset from Lenovo, hiding under the Rift name, just to hold people over. And some still might say, yeah, but the Rift S is still a better headset than the Oculus Quest for PC VR, right? And while that might be true out of the box, a year of experience with both have led me to feel quite different. This is when I got into the whole modding of the Quest scene. The Quest is less comfortable than the Rift S for certain, but with the deluxe audio strap and the VR cover, you now have a headset that is not only more comfortable than the Rift S, but has significantly better audio than the head strap speakers that come on both. You get rid of the scratchy facial interface, and now it's easy to clean because it's pleather. And you don't have to even splurge on these things. The deluxe audio strap isn't the only way to make it more comfortable, because let's be real, that's just about the biggest thing holding the whole headset back. The comfort really sucks on the Quest out of the gate. However, you can get a simple Halo head strap from Go Quest for half the price of a deluxe audio strap, or a simple $15 head support strap like this one, or get a $15 battery bank and strap it onto the back, providing both a counterweight and improved battery life. If you're willing to spend maybe $50 to $100 more on modding the Quest afterwards, it personally completely changed this headset from something of a novelty that I used occasionally to something I will gladly throw on and use for hours at a time. And that's where I'm basically going with this. Over time, the Oculus Quest has evolved from a standalone mobile VR headset that brought a small catalog of simple games to anyone with $400 in their pocket, to now one of the most versatile and capable VR packages on the entire market for the same price. Link cable is at a more stable place than it's ever been, plus being able to use almost any USB cable makes it a very cheap option, no longer requiring a specialized or expensive official cable. Hand tracking coming out of beta into a full-fledged feature is bringing exciting new gameplay opportunities to VR as a whole, and the giant modding community has fixed every hardware issue that you can think of, from crappy audio to better comfort and battery life. Does this mean that I think that the Rift S is inherently bad, or that you should return one if you have it? No, I really don't. The Rift S is a perfectly capable, well-functioning headset most of the time, and still provides a lot of value for the price. $400 and you got yourself a good PC VR headset. It is getting harder for me to recommend though when the Quest is available. Also, cost $400 is probably 90% as good as the Rift S for PC VR, but also has hand tracking, standalone VR, and is still well actively supported by Oculus, and has a far wider range of IPD adjustment, allowing for more people to just use the Quest. There's also something else that soured my relationship with the Rift S compared to the Quest, and that's how these headsets have lasted me in terms of reliability. In the year that I've owned Rift S's, yeah, that's plural, I've had things like microphone issues, disconnection issues, and it got so bad that I actually returned one Rift S and got a brand new one, and that headset had similar problems, which makes sense because I later found out that this is a software issue, not necessarily hardware. But like I said, where's the fix, Oculus? I also had very slight thumbstick drift on my Rift S, but that's pretty unimportant because Rift S and Quest controllers are the exact same. The biggest problem I did have was with the eye relief slider on the side of the headset. It's pretty cheaply made and doesn't catch all the time, plus the gears or whatever mechanism is inside slips constantly. Long story short, I've owned two Rift S's, and I no longer own a Rift S, and I will never own another Rift S. My Quest, on the other hand, after a year, has been working just fine. I've had occasional software problems related to software not updating properly or downloads not installing, but resetting the Quest has solved it every time. The battery is still functioning as expected, the IPD slider and controllers still work, and in general, the headset has maintained its functionality over the course of me owning it. After probably 400 to 500 hours on the Quest, it's held up pretty well. So what do I recommend recommend you to do. If you're looking at buying a headset somewhere between a Rift S or Quest, at this time, I'd recommend the Quest. It's grown to be one of the most versatile VR headsets out there, doing everything you could want a headset in its price range to do. Every feature it does have, from hand tracking to mobile VR to PC VR link compatibility, just constantly gets better and better as well. It's a growing platform, which is why it's so hard for me to recommend the Rift S that's shown itself to be a stagnant platform. Don't be too upset if you own a Rift S already though. It's a perfectly fine and functional headset. Nothing I say and anybody else says can change that. Just moving forward, my stance is, in the $400 price range, the Quest is the best option. Almost no questions asked. If you do want a significant bump in quality for specifically PC VR content though, the HP Reverb is looking to be the Rift S that we never got. 4 cameras for inside-out tracking, a thumbstick, a significant bump in resolution to 2160 by 2160 per eye compared to the 1440 by 1600 on the Quest and 1280 by 1440 on the Rift S, as well as Valve Index-like headphone speakers, dual stereo microphones, and a comfortable head strap for all $600. Of course, it's not out yet, and I have to get my hands on it before I could really be clear on that stance. But as it stands, that is the sort of improvement over the Quest or Rift S that would make it worth the extra cost and being tied to PC VR only applications. I hope that this cleared up some things and can answer a few questions because it's been asked a lot, a lot. The hardware landscape is shifting constantly in the VR space with new updates, new headsets, and price changes, and one of the biggest changes this year has been the Rift S's fall from PC power and the rise of the jack-of-all-trades Quest to become one of the best headsets that I could recommend, with some necessary tweaking, of course. Thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for making this channel and its content possible. I couldn't be doing any of this without you, especially my Omegas like Julian, Very Evil Shadow, Benji, and Studio Form VR. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.